Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on the 6th day of March 2023. My name is Sam Gituku and I want to introduce the panelists here in studio. I have to start with Fred Okango, who is the Secretary of Political Affairs within KANU. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
Geoffrey Wandeto is the Member of Parliament for Tetu constituency in Nyeri County. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
Senator Richard Onyonka, Senator of Kisii County. Good morning.
Morning, Sammy.
And we have David Ocheng, Member of Parliament for Ugenya. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Hope you had a good weekend.
Yes, it was a good one. It's good to see all of you here. And let's take a quick look through the papers this morning. The main story on the Standard is Matiang'i flies back to DCI, EACC storm. The former Interior Minister jetted back into the country and is expected to honor summons to explain to investigators source of his wealth and why he raised an alarm over a raid that never was. It is also a similar story on the Daily Nation. Matiang'i back in the country, set to present himself to DCI. Of course, we'll be talking about that later on, and also what you're expecting to hear from the lawyers of the former cabinet secretary at a time that they had contested the summons that were purported to have been issued from the DCI. And of course, the ACC has a matter that it's seeking information about in regards to the former cabinet secretary. Then on the Daily Nation say where to find a job. Over the past decade, more job opportunities were created in the construction, public administration, and defense and education sectors. National analysis of data by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows even as the country continues to grapple with biting unemployment and massive job losses. And you'll see the sectors that have experienced a bit of growth over the past 10 or so years in there, and so much more. Audit unveils 34 billion shilling fuel subsidy scandal. It's what is becoming the norm. Report about the previous regime and how resources were spent. Also on the Standard, you'll see government to name officials who stole billions of shillings, as said by the Deputy President, that is one Rigathi Gachagua. We'll talk about this later on, but first I want us to reflect on the situation to do with matters politics. We just had there as the Secretary General, the new Secretary General of UDA Party, one Cleophas Malala, saying that he's calling on the cabinet secretaries who went into government at a time they were party leaders of other political parties, appealing to them to fold, to join into one party that will lead the current regime to the next election. We have one of the party leaders here who affiliates with the Kenya Kwanza, David Ocheng. Good morning. And are you folding your party in favor of UDA or whatever may become Kenya Kwanza, maybe a party?
Not at all, Sam. What UDA is doing is actually a wish. Now everyone wishes to have a big pie, a big party that has everybody else inside. Every party wishes to grow. And I believe that what Mr. Malala is talking about would be their dreams to have the party having everyone else inside there. But I can tell you for sure that we've not had discussions about anybody folding anything.
Okay.
And I'm sure the parties that belong to Kenya Kwanza are run through very well-established structures. They have constitutions that guide their operations. And so no one would just wake up and say we are folding up a party. And that's why I would like to just confirm to especially members of the MDG party that we will go to the 2027 elections as MDG party.
Okay.
Yeah, no one is folding the other. Okay. Yeah.
And Senator, we've seen this before. Once upon a time, there was TNA, URP, and many other parties that had formed the Jubilee Coalition in 2013. Come 2016, thereabout, they formed into the Jubilee Party. But as soon as after the election, it started collapsing to what it is now. Is there a good case for parties after winning an election coming together to form a mega party, if you might call it so?
The way I look at it, Sam, is that the Kenya Kwanza team right now, and indeed not just Kenya Kwanza, I think many of us find ourselves in a catch-22. What I think my senior brother here, Ocheng, is undergoing, that catch-22 is like this. Sammy, we have been having elections. Even when there are complaints about the national election, at the grassroots level. What was the reason to begin with why many people felt that they needed to have different parties and not go with the big ones? Because once you join a big party, once they cook you in that party, you can't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. All right? And we have not established structures and systems. Our DNA on democracy and political parties and registration and nominations and selections is still way bad. I mean, we have not been able to clean up our democracy. So in reality, what you have, somebody like Ochieng, who actually ran away from ODM because he felt that the ODM party was not taking care of his interests, and the voters who love to vote for him. Now you are telling him to go and form another party, to rejoin the bigger party, so that then you now emasculate him. And when these challenges begin about nominations, how bribery takes place, how the selection and nomination is biased, the truth and the reality is I don't believe that Ochieng will agree. But at the same time, Sami, I think where President William Ruto is coming from is the European or the British or the Anglo-Saxon model. The Anglo-Saxon model is if you have different views and different opinions in a country, then democratically what you are allowed to do is take those views into one big behemoth of a party, because the bigger the party, the more power it has, and the more significance it has. And as a result of that, those issues you have are supposed to be taken to this bigger party. The bigger party then now manages the agendas of these very various small issues that you have within either the national grid or the regional grid. Now, the problem we have with that is that the bigger the party, the more bureaucracy, the less time there is, the infighting never stops. Right. Yeah, so to me, Kenyans really now, in terms of political parties, we are in a catch-22. We feel like it's good to have a big party, but at the same time, the reasons why small parties have been created have not been fixed.
Okay. Yes. I want to skip you for a moment. Speak to Fred first, because you've had an experiment that is coming together when KANU was in a coalition. You may not have been there at that time. In 2013 coalition, the Amani coalition, if I'm not mistaken. And then come 2017, worked with the Jubilee Party. 2022, worked with Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya coalition party, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're still at a time that after that election, that coalition political party is still facing its fair share of challenges, Is there a proper case that you'd say that it would have been better for ODM, Jubilee, Wiper, and all these other affiliated parties, including KANU, to form into one? Or is it a bad experiment based on the lessons from the Jubilee? And should Kenya Kwanza consider such a path?
Thank you, Sam. First of all, I think just to respond on the earlier issue, Malala is not speaking just like Malala. Malala is now the Secretary General of UDA. And I believe he has the blessings of the UDA leadership. That includes Honorable William Ruto and Honorable Gachagua. And therefore, it's just a wait and see. In my view, I think woe unto the other parties in Kenya Kwanza, because ultimately they will fold. Now, to answer your question, we are in a multi-party democracy. And that's why today, when you go to the registered political parties, you will realize that there are so many registered political parties, over 87 something. They have quite a number. That means as a democracy, we are growing. And therefore, every political party has a right to participate in election, to educate their members through civic education, and also to seek power. Now, I personally believe that it is important that we strengthen political parties in quest for power, because these are political competition. But at the same time, it is still important to cooperate where need be. That's why we form coalitions. That's why we amended the Political Parties Act, so that where need be, you can coalesce together with a common goal and pursue that agenda to its conclusion. So in my view, KANU is the independent party. And you have seen, even when they cooperate, when they join coalition, they have always stood firm on their own. That is something that probably other people would learn from us. Right. And we believe that as a party, KANU, we are stronger, not only alone, but also together. So I don't see any reason why KANU, ODM, Jubilee, and any other member, constituent member of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya should go separate way or should, merge to form one big party. Okay. We strongly believe in our constituent parties, and we strongly believe in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition political party.
Okay, all right. Honorable Wandeto, you come from UDA. Is this a discussion that you have had within the party structures to agree that you need to approach the coalition towards uniting all the parties into one?
Okay, thank you, Sam. I think one of the things, one of the outstanding issues of our political democracy in this country has been having strong political movements. Since we moved into multi-party democracy, I think now should be 30-something years ago, we have seen this proliferation of small political parties, and we have, as a country, not had political movements with an ideology or a philosophy that is fairly distinct, from the others. And so I personally support the idea of having large political parties as opposed to this proliferation. The president himself, I've heard him on numerous occasions talking about these small political parties that are either regional-based or clan-based, which we have seen in the past have led to the balkanization of this country along tribal lines and things like that. So as our democracy matures, I think it's very, very important that we start moving in this direction. And Senator Marara, of course, has come. He's a new Secretary General. And as they say, a new broom's a sweep cleaner. So it is in his right to start calling for parties, to start basically establishing himself as the new Secretary General.
That's what I'm asking. Are those his thoughts, or it's something you've decided in your party?
I mean, this is the party position. Like I said, the president himself, who is our party leader, has on numerous occasions asked that it is very, very important that we form one strong political movement. Now, as to what is coming out now is that movement would like it to be UDA, okay? And we have seen some parties already folding in favor of UDA. Moses Kuria saw the light very early, and he did that. And it's very, very important that parties like the one for David Ochieng, for David Dia, who is a very, very good friend, instead of having one member of parliament, I think it is important that we all come and, and put together our forces and form one, large political movement. And the other thing, it is important that this is...
How is that conversation being undertaken? Is it through the media, or are you speaking to the party structures? He says he's not been requested.
And Sam, if you may allow me before I answer your question, it is very important that this is happening almost 5 years before an election. Because what we tend to see is parties trying to come together to make hurried arrangements towards the general election. Let us have this conversation early. Let David here give his opinion. Let Fred here give his opinion. Let us debate it. Let us argue it. Let us sit down, negotiate, talk. Like now he has said he has not been approached. That's a very, very good point. So, and I believe, Malala is watching.
That is why I'm asking.
Approach David and have a conversation with him.
Honorable Wandeto, what are you doing to ensure that he doesn't become the bigger brother bullying the smaller ones?
I don't think there's anyone being bullied, because these are all requests.
Which have not been made expressly to the party leader.
This debate, Sam, started over the weekend. By maybe end of this week, maybe David will have had a chance to sit down as a party leader.
The party position, it surely didn't begin over the weekend.
I'm saying the conversations have just begun over the weekend. So we believe this is a systematic thing. Parties will be approached. I think what maybe the Senator Marara did was a statement of intent. This is how we would like to go. But I believe parties will not be bullied on the media to join. There will be discussions. There will be negotiations. There will be conversations on how we do this. And what I've said, Sam, again, it is important that we're having this conversation almost 4.5 years before an election.
Okay, all right. And yes, you want to say something?
Sam, I think people miss a point somewhere. When you wake up and say people should fold up their parties, did you start those parties for them? Do you know why they were started? Why would someone decide one morning that we want parties to fold up and go? I mean, like I said earlier, these are wishes. It would be good to have a big party in the country, but a big party is not a conglomerate of parties. A big party is one party that grows organically. And so if UDA wants to be a behemoth of a party, let it grow organically. Let it grow from membership from the grassroots. Let it not start telling guys in Nairobi that we want you guys to fold up. Because I can assure you, no one is going to fold up.
I think you have your answer. I don't know. We'll wait to see how that pans out.
David is saying no one is going to fold up and people have already folded up. Moses Kuria folded his party.
Chama cha Kazi.
And I can see others coming on board because
Which
it
ones?
is the right thing to do and it makes perfect sense. We do not want these small village,
Which ones are coming along?
political parties. Sorry?
Now he's calling his party a village.
Which parties are coming along?
Which parties are coming along?
Yeah.
We expect as many.
Which ones?
I would expect Ford Kenya. I would expect ANC. Malala was a former in ANC. So I would believe the first thing he'll do is to deliver his former party home.
The leaders in ANC just spoke in that story.
Can I say something, Sammy?
Yes.
I can tell you as a former deputy party leader of Ford Kenya, Ford Kenya will never fold. Hey, what is this? At the party of the lion, at you close Masinde Muliro, Kijana wa Malwa, Jaramogi, at you close it and take it to the store.
So that,
hey.
Richard, you don't want your party to continue being a small
What I am
party.
saying, let me now tell you what the truth is.
Yes.
What we are saying is this. African democracy has more challenges that require very substantial engagements, and you cannot just take Africans and put them in a boat and say fly together.
But Sam, especially for a guy who came into parliament recently in a party that is less than 2 years old. You know, MDG is now 8 years old. And for a while, there's a time when UDA had only one MP, by the way. There's a time in last parliament, UDA had only one MP. I always give this example, Sam, when talk about political parties. In 1997, the one man who has built very many political parties, strong political parties, Raila Amolo Odinga, was the only MP in his party. That party was called the NDP that time, one MP. And he didn't fold up. In the following elections, he went in and came back with 17 MPs. In 2097, then the following 02. Then in 2007, the ODM had how many MPs? 105. So the party has grown incrementally.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Raila Odinga folded up his party for Kanu.
Yes.
No, look, in 96, after he resigned from Ford Kenya, he came to parliament with the NDP. Then, after folding the party, by the way, the party that was folded was NDP, but the following elections, he went to another party, LDP, not NAC. I hope you understand that. That he folded NDP, but within a year, he formed another party called LDP that he went into elections with in 2002. There's no time that Raila has gone to elections without
But maybe there's a lesson to learn there.
That's the point I was going to make to you.
The NDP Kanu merger sort of killing career.
That's the point I was going to make to you here. That every time parties have merged, they never go to next elections as a merger. No. We know Jubilee URP, then they say, why don't you come together, form a party? So they go into next election in 2017 with the Jubilee party. Look at what happened in the last elections. Jubilee had so many other underlings. So we had UDA, you had Jubilee party itself, you had Moses Kuria, his own party, with Kinjudi, his own party. So you can imagine how. But towards 2027, there'll be offshoots. So in my opinion, unless people have discussions and people have a meeting of minds on that this is how you want to go, the wishes of having a big party are not bad. But if not handled well, it may even easily lead to the breaking of this big party you're calling UDA today. Okay.
And I want us to leave it at that, so that to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking about the situation of the former Cabinet Secretary for Interior Affairs, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who returned to the country Saturday night after this break.